It's a good story, alright? It's a good story. I made this one up. Alright. When I was a kid, right? I always looked up to my father. I said this story over there a couple minutes ago, but I'm going to say it again. So when I was a kid, I always looked up to my father. You looked up to your father?
Yes.
You look up to your father?
Alright, yeah.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I looked up to my father, and I always thought he was special, right? I was like 5 or 6 or something. And so my father, you know, he was like, he had something special about him. I didn't know what was special about him, right? So this one day, right? This is the event, this is the incident that made me think that he was special. That I truly believe that he was like no other father alive, right? When I used to live in Alabama, between 1980 something and 1990 something, right? So I used to live in Alabama. That's where I get my country accent from. And so when I used to live in Alabama, right near us there was an apartment complex, right? And his apartment complex was ablaze. It caught on fire and everything. And when this apartment it caught on fire, right? And what happened was the police came, the fire truck came, and everything, right? And they're trying to, you know, extinguish the fire. So the cops and everything, they put a boundary, and there was an audience forming, and all these people, they started watching the fire, and they started, for some reason, it was like an event to them, right? And so what happened was, are you listening?
Yeah, listen.
You listening? All right. So what happened was that there was this on the 10th floor, the 10th or the 12th floor, there was this lady there, right? And she opened her window to get some air, and it was all this smoke, and she says, there's no way my baby's gonna survive. She was grabbing onto her baby's life, right? And she was trying to get as much air as she could, right? And then the fire truck came, but the ladder wasn't high enough, right? And there was no way that this lady could survive or her baby could survive, because her baby was an infant. And there was no way that her baby could survive. This is the incident that made me look at my dad this way, right? So when my father came, right? At the time, right, while this building was on fire, blah blah blah. So then the lady said, "Somebody save my baby! Somebody save my baby!" I'm saying my story again, except it's gonna be on tape. So somebody save my baby. So then my father comes, right? The whole audience, right? The people, the spectators, they were quiet, right? They saw my father come, right? They saw my father come, and as soon as my father came, he split the audience. He split him like how Moses split the sea, right? Walked right through and said, "I'm gonna save your baby, man. I'm gonna save your baby," right? This was a black lady. She said, "Oh dear Lord, oh dear Jesus, right? Please save my baby, right?" And so my father said, you know what my father said? He said, "Throw your baby down. I'll catch him, right? I'll catch your baby." So then the lady said, "Okay." So she kissed the baby, and she gave him one big tight hug, and she dropped the baby, right? My father came, and he started running, right? He ran like the wind, right? The baby's falling, right? The 10th floor, the 8th floor, the 7th, 6th, whatever, blah, blah, right? My father jumped in the air, caught the baby, right? Cradled the baby in his arms, right? And with the momentum, he flipped over, and he saved, and he rolled down onto the floor, right? The whole crowd was cheering, but at that moment, they were silent, right? My father got up slowly, right? I looked like he had injury or something, and his elbow was limp or something. He was holding the baby in his right arm, right? And then he held the baby up in the air, and the crowd was going wild. They were cheering him on. And then he spiked the baby. That's the end.
You made that up? Like, I mean,
Story.
this is
true story.
I'm saying like, why was this such a big like thing? Like, you know, you came from Alabama.
There was in Huntsville, Alabama.
I was there.
Actually, I used to live in the suburbs of Madison.
Like, yeah, like, but you have the entire backstory and everything, and none of it, like, you know.
I made it all up.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I'm saying, like, but like, why'd you have the entire backstory and everything?
What do you mean backs?
Like, you went through so much just to get to that part.
Obviously, you never told the story before.
Why'd you have to say all that other stuff, man? That's not important to the story.
An environment so you can actually visualize the story that I have told. Did you visualize it?
I saw it, man.
You saw it. You were there. I made you part of the audience. You were in awe when my father caught the baby, right? And you were cheering my father on when he put the baby up in the air, weren't you? In your heart, you felt it, right? That's what I did. Tariq Child storyteller. Another story for another time. Sound like